Imagine the scene. Tense glances and decisions that could change the course of an entire season being discussed in hushed tones. There are no camera flashes, no public statements, just the sound of change approaching like a storm. Behind the scenes at the Los Angeles Chargers, a quiet turnaround is about to explode, and a household name among fans could pay the price. The war veteran, a respected idol for his dedication on the field and presence in the locker room, is now at the center of a brutal dilemma. He returned to the Chargers jersey hoping to contribute once again, but the clock is ticking, and time is unforgiving. The reason for the tension has a name, a surname, and a huge chip on his shoulder. The question now is no longer if the Chargers will make surprising cuts. It's who will be the first to go. And everything indicates that the 2025 season could begin with a decision that absolutely no one expected. Tony Jefferson's days in Los Angeles may be numbered, and that possibility, though painful for longtime fans, is gaining traction behind the scenes. At 33, the veteran safety, who was re-signed by the Chargers to a one-year contract, entered 2025, hoping to be a complementary piece in the defensive rotation. But everything changed with the arrival of rookie R.J. Mickens, a sixth-round draft pick. The landscape is now completely different, and Mickens' presence is beginning to have a direct impact on Jefferson's future. Last season, Jefferson appeared in 8 games, totaling 27 tackles, no interceptions and no passes defended. These are reasonable numbers, but they make it clear. His role today is limited. He's no longer the dominant playmaker he was in his prime, and the Chargers have younger, more explosive options at their disposal. Derwin James, Elijah Molden, and Alohi Gilman are established names in the safeties group and have guaranteed spots on the roster. This means that if the team chooses to keep only 4 players at the position, which is perfectly plausible, the final spot will become a real competition, and Mickens emerges as the favorite. And it's no wonder. What the young man showed at Clemson was simply impressive. 75 tackles, 6 for loss, 2 interceptions, and 7 passes defended in his final season. Active, physical, and with excellent game reading, Mickens has everything the Chargers are looking for to revamp their defense with youth and aggressiveness. Furthermore, the cost benefit of a rookie is much more advantageous in terms of cap space than keeping a veteran in the final stretch of his career. The trend is clear. If Mickens performs well in training camp and the preseason, he could push Jefferson off the roster. The competition will be intense, and for the veteran, this may be his last chance in the NFL. But while this drama unfolds behind the scenes, the Chargers could still surprise with another bold move, this time involving a former defensive MVP who could be on his way to Los Angeles. What if I told you that Stephon Gilmore, the same one who was named the NFL's Defensive Player of the Year, could be about to don the blue and gold for the 2025 season? Sound bold? Well, this possibility is more alive than ever. Free agent, the 33-year-old veteran cornerback, recently declared that he still wants to play, but with one condition: he'll only sign with the right team. And when we look at the current NFL landscape, few places seem as perfect as the Los Angeles Chargers. Gilmore was clear: "I want to play this year. It just has to be the right situation. I'm not going to sign anywhere. I still love the game and I know I can contribute. It just has to be the right place." He didn't mention the Chargers directly, but everything indicates that the California franchise meets exactly the requirements the experienced defender seeks. Under new defensive coordinator Jesse Minter, the Chargers have become a true powerhouse on the defensive side of the ball. In 2024, the unit was one of the best in the league in points allowed and forced turnovers, showing impressive growth. But despite the young and promising core featuring names like Tarheeb Still and Cam Hart, the unit still lacks a reliable veteran who can lead on and off the field. And that's where Gilmore comes in. With significant stints with the Patriots, Colts, and Cowboys, Gilmore brings with him not only high-level production but also a winning mentality. He's the type of player who can boost the morale of the entire defensive group, as well as serve as a direct mentor to young talent still adapting to the NFL. Dante Jackson and Benjamin St-Juste arrived in the offseason, but neither of them has a guaranteed position. Both still need to prove themselves in Minter's system. And, with the market cooling and Gilmore's cost dropping, the financial fit is starting to become as attractive as the coach. GM Joe Ortiz has already proven he's not afraid to act. Just think of the trade for Elijah Molden at the last minute of last preseason, a bold and accurate move. Furthermore, Gilmore isn't just a perimeter cornerback. His versatility and lining up inside, if necessary, fits perfectly with the Chargers' defensive philosophy, which values multiple packages and disguised coverages. The fit is tactical, emotional, and strategic. And what's more, imagine Gilmore as a key piece of a defense that already features Derwin James, Khalil Mack, and Tuli Tuipulotu. Imagine him helping shut down the opposing defense's top receivers in the playoffs. Imagine the impact his presence will have on the locker room, especially with a coach like Jim Harbaugh leading the team's culture. Gilmore could be the missing element that transforms an already strong defense into an impenetrable unit. Of course, everything will depend on the performance of the current cornerbacks in training camp. If any of the names mentioned stumble or fail to deliver in the first few weeks, Gilmore could very well be the first name to get a call from the front office. He's still available, and he doesn't seem inclined to retire just yet. And with a competitive roster and an ambitious coaching staff, the Chargers offer exactly the kind of situation he's looking for: structure, ambition, and a real shot at a Super Bowl. So stay tuned. tuned. Because while all eyes are on rising youngsters, the Chargers' most decisive move of the offseason may be hidden in a call that hasn't yet happened, but that could change everything. While all the spotlight is on newly signed Najee Harris and the hyped rookie Omarion Hampton, a quiet but extremely promising story is beginning to gain traction in the Chargers' backfield. It's Raheem Sanders, an undrafted rookie who could be the breakout star of the 2025 season in Los Angeles. Yes, he wasn't picked in any of the 7 rounds of the draft. Yes, he's faced a series of injuries in recent years, which have cast a shadow over his potential. But ignoring Sanders could be a fatal mistake. Anyone who saw him play for the University of Arkansas in 2022 knows what he's capable of. He had 1,443 rushing yards, 10 touchdowns, and an average of 6.5 yards per carry against tough defenses in the SEC, one of the most competitive conferences in college football. After this brilliant year, he was hampered by knee, shoulder, and ankle injuries that limited his production in 2023. Even so, he didn't give up. In 2024, now at South Carolina, he showed resilience. He accumulated 881 rushing yards and 11 touchdowns, in addition to contributing 27 receptions for 316 yards and 2 receiving TDs. He proved he still had gas in the tank and remains a dual threat running and receiving. At 6'0" and 230 pounds, Sanders combines power with agility, and his physical and explosive style is reminiscent of the great NFL running backs of the 2000s, but with the fluidity and versatility required in the modern game. His ability to break tackles, find space in tight defenses, and still produce yards after contact makes him a nightmare for defenders. And the most curious thing, while Harris is expected to start the season as a starter and Hampton is receiving the spotlight as a first-round pick, Sanders has been working behind the scenes, gaining ground, learning the playbook, and quickly adapting to the pace of the NFL. It wouldn't be surprising to see him surpass both in productivity throughout the season, especially if he can stay healthy and continue to excel in training and the preseason. Being left off the final 53-man roster seems increasingly unlikely. In fact, according to reports circulating behind the scenes, Sanders is already impressing the coaching staff, who see in him a profile very similar to the one Jim Harbaugh adores. A physical, disciplined, determined player, hungry to prove he deserves a spot. Of course, the road is still long, and he will need to overcome strong competition including from other more established names, but with each repetition in training and each opportunity in the preseason, Sanders seems closer to breaking expectations. If you like this news and want to receive updates like these, subscribe to our channel here and comment below. Who would you like to see wearing a Chargers jersey this season? If Harbaugh's plan is to rebuild a powerful and unpredictable offense, Raheem Sanders could be exactly the quiet asset no one expected, but that everyone will soon discover.